is no defense. It was a miscommunication part on my end that I thought
I can't even
been
hear him
fine.
now. I still can't hear him.
Why would you want to hear the guy who runs the technical portion of the
He's
show?
trying to screw me over. They're trying to get me out of this team.
JP is sabotaging. Are you
JP wants
sabotaging
me out.
Struddy? Is that your plan?
I'm
not
actually the one.
answering your text.
I'm actually the one who changed his Wikipedia as well, just for the record.
Exactly. That's
I'm not
exactly
answering
right.
your text, JP. You're done. You're
JP's
done. You've got a
out.
2-week suspension.
Well, it doesn't help. JP's the only Samsung guy here, too. So everyone else is on iChat.
classic.
And we got to have a green background because of JP sabotaging everything.
That's why I'm not in the group chat.
Yeah, you're sabotaging us right now. All right. Were you guys ready for this list? 3 reasons
can't wait to
why
get it,
I
yeah.
believe a Canadian team is going to win the Stanley Cup this year, okay? Number 3, admittedly, is a complete cop-out, but probability is at number 3. Now, let me explain here. I know. It has been 31, it'll be 32 years without a Stanley Cup. There are 7 Canadian teams in a 32-team league. At some point, probability alone would suggest I'm going to put my chips down on green 00 because it will hit. And I believe that is the case. Also, I believe we're looking at a scenario where we could have 5 Canadian teams in the dance. Toronto's going, Winnipeg's going, Edmonton's going. I believe Vancouver will get in, and Ottawa is right there. Like, I'll believe it when I see it with Ottawa, but it's not like they're 10 points out. They're in the mix, right? And if Ullmark gets hot and they start moving and shaking the way that I believe that they can, and Noodles, you've been pumping their tires for a while, you and a lot of people, if they get in, that's 5 tickets. You give me 5 Canadian tickets.
Out of 16.
Out of 16. Probability is number 3. I know that's not the greatest case to make, but it's true.
Let's just go the safe route.
Yes.
4 out of 16.
4 out of 16 is still 25%.
25. 1 in 4 opportunity.
Exactly, and it's been 32 years. And I think those 4 teams are pretty good teams.
They are. I think you could make a case for all 4 teams. If Ottawa makes it, then, you can make a case that Ottawa goes on this run or whatever. They get hot at the right time. But let's just say, 1 in 4. Yes, they are good teams. It's just, I don't know. You know what it is? I've got PTSD, and I'm sorry. I'm going to. It's like we say things, it looks different this year. No chance they're going to do it this many. Like, no chance it's going to happen 6 times. And then it happens, and then you're like, So I can see what you're saying. I can reason with it and say, yes, eventually, the numbers will have to happen. But I'm on the other side because I've got PTSD about it. You know what I mean?
I understand.
That's where I'm at.
32 years we've been doing this, Strud.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Hayes, you're the kind of guy that walks into a casino and sees 9 black hit numbers of hit on roulette. And you're like, it's due. The 10th one will be red.
Got to be red.
It's
still
50-50.
No, it's not.
50-50 chance.
Now momentum is swinging towards red.
But the chips don't care, right? The dice don't care. It's just that they don't care what happened before. This is it. So, but I think that we're getting close. There's a lot of good players playing in Canada right now. The talent is high on all the teams, including Ottawa.
Yes.
Maybe I wouldn't call them contenders. The Leafs, according to everyone, is a contender that lives out east.
Yeah.
But you got Vancouver. They've got a pretty good team. The Oilers.
Winnipeg's good. Yep.
Yeah. Montreal, probably not quite there. Calgary, not quite there. But I think there's a lot of good talent here in these Canadian teams. So I think it's coming up.
Yes.
But unlike you, I can't just say we're like the saying we're due thing. I just don't.
Well, again,
I can't get behind that one.
I hear you. It's not the most compelling case. That's why it's at number 3. I was thinking about putting goalies up here, but that's more specific to Hellebuck, Demko if he's healthy, because I think Skinner's got to prove it again. The Leafs goalies both have to prove it. So I was going to go with the goalies, but I thought probability, and more so again, if you give me 4, maybe 5 tickets in a 16-team dance, maybe we find a way to get a Teddy Bluger's mom scenario here where the 50-50 drops our way. All right, that's a number 3. The talent I'll get to in a moment. Number 2 is I don't see an American powerhouse where in years past, last year it felt like Destiny Florida was going to be the team that just was going to beat you. They were not going to be stopped. I don't think that applies to them this year. I still think they're a great team, but I don't think it, again, 3 straight years going to a cup final, very difficult to do. Tampa did it, but we saw they ran out of fumes in that 3rd year. Vegas, a couple years ago, felt like they were a team that was they were motoring and they weren't going to be stopped. Tampa, in their years, in the COVID bubbles, they were clearly the best team. I don't see that down in the States. We have Minnesota leading their division right now. Very good start. Really, really good. LA's been up and down. Florida and Tampa have been okay. Boston's a tire fire. The Rangers are a mess right now. I like Carolina. I like Jersey. I like Vegas. I like Colorado if their goaltending's legit. It is, yes. but when did Mackenzie Blackwood become Marty Brodeur? You have to explain that to me.
No, he doesn't. Look, that's the thing, though. They won the Stanley Cup with Darcy Kemper.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I look at it. I think.
Are they a powerhouse, though, to you? Like, do you look at Colorado with 34 points, albeit a lot of that was injury-related and the goalies stink, but are they like I'm terrified of that team? I don't see that.
No, look, you're right. As of 28 games into the season, I just think they just got so much better with stable goaltending, and I am not convinced that they are not done yet. Like some weird trade where it's like they did the Middlestat trade out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but I didn't see that one coming. Right? Again, Pittsburgh's gotten off the mat, but you heard Sid, Colorado, all of that type of stuff. I think there's something up their sleeve there still that would put them getting Nichushkin back. Keep in mind, this guy just showed up again. And who knows if they can trust him again, because it was 2 playoffs in a row that this guy disappeared on him. But you're right, just a clear-cut, pillar-to-post powerhouse where it was like Boston with 62 wins or whatever. I think you're right, Brian, as far as just saying powerhouse, but I could make a case for a lot of the teams that you did mention, for Tampa, for Florida, for Colorado, for Winnipeg.
But you can do it for Canadian teams too.
Exactly.
That's the thing,
so it's
right?
kind of on the same.
That's what I'm
level.
at. I think the playing ground again. It could be different by the end of the year. I'm not saying there's Canadian teams that deserve to be definitively at number one. But I don't see a Boston from a couple of years ago. And they flamed out in the playoffs. But remember what they looked like, what Tampa looked like when they won 62 games. Again, Florida had that feel to me last year where it was like, I don't know who's going to beat them. They look like a clear-cut favorite. I haven't seen that out of an American team, which, again, just kind of evens the playing field, which should put Canadian teams in a better position.
The Toronto Maple Leafs may be taking a new approach to salary management, which could directly impact Mitch Marner's contract negotiations. During Kyle Dubas' tenure as general manager, the team didn't hesitate to spend heavily, and this trend began with a 6-year extension signed by Marner in 2019. At the time, Marner's $10.9 million annual cap hit set the market for superstar wingers, surpassing comparable players like Mikko Rantanen of the Colorado Avalanche, who signed a 6-year deal with a $9.25 million annual cap hit. Now, however, times seem to be changing. TSN's Pierre Lebrun recently reported that the Maple Leafs have implemented an internal salary cap, aiming to ensure no player earns more than captain Austin Matthews, who signed a 4-year extension worth $13.25 million per season in August 2023. The team's primary concern revolves around Marner's agent, Darren Ferris, who, according to Lebrun, might push for a percentage of the total salary cap instead of a fixed dollar amount. This could result in Marner's cap hit exceeding Matthews' $13.25 million, conflicting with the Leafs' new financial strategy. Ferris is known for driving negotiations to the limit, often taking his clients to free agency. This raises fears that discussions between Marner and the Leafs could drag on until July 1st, giving Marner and his camp all the leverage in negotiations. Another complicating factor is the rising market. Lebrun noted that Mikko Rantanen believes he could secure $14 million per season as a free agent. This sparks the question, could Marner demand even more? And would Ferris take that gamble, knowing the Leafs might opt to move on and sign another player? Marner has made it clear on multiple occasions that Toronto is where he wants to be. As a local player with deep ties to the city, he's expressed his desire to spend his entire career wearing the blue and white of the Leafs. However, staying with the team may require him to accept less than market value, especially if the front office remains committed to its new salary structure. Such a sacrifice could be vital for the team's collective success and to avoid financial issues that have plagued the recent past. While negotiations are still in the early stages, it's evident that Marner's future with the Leafs is at stake. Maple Leafs fans may need to prepare for the possibility of significant changes, but they can also trust in the player's commitment to the city and the franchise to find a compromise. The Maple Leafs' decision to implement an internal salary cap reflects a broader shift in their team-building philosophy. After years of prioritizing top-end talent with hefty contracts, the organization appears determined to strike a balance between superstar contracts and depth throughout the roster. This strategy aims to avoid the pitfalls of past seasons, where a lack of financial flexibility often left the team vulnerable in critical playoff moments. For Mitch Marner, this shift creates a unique challenge. On one hand, his value to the Leafs is undeniable. A consistent top scorer and elite playmaker, Marner has been instrumental in driving the team's offense. On the other hand, his ability to command a salary that rivals or exceeds Auston Matthews could put the Leafs in a difficult position, especially with a potential need to strengthen other areas of the roster. As the 2023-24 season progresses, the Leafs must weigh the potential consequences of sticking to their cap philosophy. Losing a homegrown talent like Marner would undoubtedly sting for fans and the organization alike. However, allowing one player to dictate financial terms beyond the team's structure could hinder long-term success and force painful sacrifices elsewhere. Adding to the complexity is the looming free agency of William Nylander. If the Leafs are to stick to their internal salary cap, they may also face challenges in retaining Nylander, who could command a significant raise. Balancing contracts for both Marner and Nylander within the new framework could prove to be the ultimate test for Toronto's management team. Another factor at play is the team's ultimate goal, winning the Stanley Cup. While star players like Marner and Matthews are crucial, history has shown that depth and balanced rosters often prevail in the postseason. If the Leafs fail to manage their finances effectively, they risk falling short of building a championship-caliber team, even with elite talent. For Marner, the decision to stay with the Leafs might come down to more than just dollars. His connection to the city, the fans, and his teammates could be deciding factors. If he prioritizes legacy and loyalty over maximizing earnings, there's a strong possibility that he'll work with the team to find a deal that benefits both parties. Negotiations will also test Darren Ferris, known for his hardline tactics in securing lucrative deals for his clients. While pushing for top dollar is expected, Ferris may need to weigh the risks of alienating the Leafs management and fanbase. A prolonged stalemate could damage Marner's relationship with the team and its supporters. The Leafs management, led by general manager Brad Treliving, faces a pivotal moment. Treliving's reputation as a negotiator and team builder will be on full display as he navigates this high-stakes scenario. Striking the right balance could solidify his tenure in Toronto, while a misstep might set the team back for years. For Maple Leafs fans, the coming months will be filled with anticipation and uncertainty. Marner's future, along with the team's ability to stay competitive under financial constraints, will likely dominate conversations as the season unfolds. Supporters can only hope that the team's new approach leads to greater playoff success and, ultimately, the elusive championship. In the end, the outcome of these negotiations could redefine the Maple Leafs' identity for years to come. Whether it results in retaining Marner or reshaping the roster, the team's commitment to an internal salary cap signals a clear focus on long-term sustainability. Fans will be watching closely, hoping for a resolution that keeps the team's core intact and their championship dreams alive. As the negotiations with Mitch Marner progress, another layer of complexity is added by the external competition in the NHL market. Teams with more cap space and fewer restrictions could easily present lucrative offers to Marner if he reaches free agency. The Leafs are not only negotiating with Marner but also indirectly competing with other franchises willing to outbid them for his services. One example of this is Mikko Rantanen, whose potential $14 million value on the open market highlights the growing demand for elite wingers. If Rantanen secures such a deal, it could set a precedent that Marner's camp would use as leverage. The Leafs, however, must remain disciplined, as breaking their internal salary cap for Marner could lead to similar demands from other key players down the line. The looming specter of free agency means the Leafs have a limited window to strike a deal. If negotiations drag on into the off-season, the leverage shifts heavily in favor of Marner and his agent. Darren Ferris, known for his strategic patience, could use this to push for maximum value, putting even greater pressure on the Leafs management to make a decision. This scenario also places significant pressure on head coach Sheldon Keefe. Managing a team amid ongoing contract uncertainty can disrupt chemistry and focus. Keefe will need to ensure that the team remains united and focused on their performance, even as the media and fans speculate about Marner's future. Meanwhile, the Leafs core group, including Auston Matthews, Morgan Rielly, and John Tavares, will likely play a role in influencing Marner's decision. The camaraderie among the players and their collective drive for a championship could persuade Marner to accept a deal that aligns with the team's financial structure. On the flip side, the Leafs could explore contingency plans if a deal with Marner doesn't materialize. Trading Marner would be a bold move, but it could bring significant assets in return, potentially bolstering the team in areas like defense or secondary scoring. This option, while unpopular with fans, might be necessary to maintain roster balance. The timing of these decisions is also critical. With the trade deadline months away, the Leafs must assess whether keeping Marner without an extension risks losing him for nothing in free agency. A preemptive trade could avoid this scenario, but it would also signal a significant shift in the team's short-term goals. Fan sentiment will undoubtedly influence the team's approach. Marner is not just an exceptional player, he's a fan favorite and a symbol of homegrown talent succeeding in Toronto. Losing him could lead to backlash, especially if the team struggles in the aftermath of his departure. The broader NHL landscape also plays a role. As other teams navigate their own salary cap challenges, the Leafs can learn from their successes and failures. Organizations like the Tampa Bay Lightning and Vegas Golden Knights have shown the value of balancing star power with depth, offering a potential blueprint for Toronto's future.